Now at 8:30, we're tracking the latest on a death investigation in Meade County. We'll hear the 911 call of the person who found her boyfriend dead.
And we're tracking the investigation into a deadly plane crash in Tennessee.
And we have new details into the mass shooting in Roseburg, Oregon. We'll hear the story of the man who says he was spared by the suspected gunman.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. I'm Michelle Tamerlan. Thanks so much for tuning in this Sunday morning.
And I hope your Sunday's off to a great start. I'm Sean Moody, and it's off to a little bit of a chilly start.
You know what? I'll take it, Sean.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying this fall weather.
Yeah, I'll take it as long as we don't get too crazy. Mike says it might not be too far off, though. It's starting out a little bit chilly today, isn't it, Mike?
Most definitely, Sean. We are looking at temperatures sitting in the low 40s and upper 30s early on, and we are dealing with some pretty dense fog in some spots. Corbin along the southern corridor of I-75, some dense fog there. Doesn't hold a candle to Breathitt County, though. Check this out. A little hard to even see the lower valley early on here in Jackson. That fog is quite dense. Take it easy on the roadways if you have to head that way this morning. The visibility at or below a mile, if not at 0 miles. That means that the fog is going to be quite thick in front of you. Remember, don't use your brights if driving through the fog. It makes it that much more difficult to see. Temperature-wise, starting out in the low 40s, so be sure to grab that jacket if you're heading out early this morning. And as far as what you'll find heading into the afternoon, well, Defenders is saying not very much. But coming up, I'll show you how warm temperatures will get and what we can expect for the week ahead.
Mike, thank you. WKYT is tracking a deadly plane crash in a remote part of Tennessee. That plane crashed on Friday night in northeastern Tennessee near the North Carolina state line. The FAA says the airplane was on its way to Bloomington, Indiana. 2 people were killed in the crash. They've not yet been officially identified. Recovery crews say bad weather conditions are hindering their investigation. Investigators with the NTSB and the FAA are there at the crash site as well.
We'll look at the man, the machine, and the environment for that. And then once the factual comes out, it releases it to our board members, and they're the ones that determine what caused the crash.
While the victims haven't been officially identified, a company based in Bloomington, Indiana, released a statement Saturday saying that one of their vice presidents and his daughter were the 2 people who were killed in that crash. The man who was killed in a fiery crash in Boyle County on Friday has been identified. The Boyle County coroner says 30-year-old Marshall Kemp died after his SUV hit a truck on Popplewell Road near US 127. Police say Kemp's SUV burst into flames and Kemp died at the scene. The truck's driver was taken to the hospital.
State police is investigating another deadly crash in Knox County. It happened Friday night around 7 at the intersection of US 25 East and Bradley Martin Lane in Barberville. Troopers say 43-year-old Teresa Walters crossed into the center lane, hit an embankment, and flipped. Walters was taken to the Knox County Hospital, where she later died. Troopers tell us she was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash. The survivor of last week's shooting at a community college in Oregon is finally telling his story to law enforcement and reporters. Matthew Downing says right before suspected shooter Christopher Harper Mercer started shooting, he placed a flash drive on a desk saying, "Whoever survives this should give it to the police." He then told Downing he wouldn't shoot him if he gave the drive to police. The contents of that flash drive have not been released. 9 people and the suspected gunman were killed in the attack.
Prosecutors say a man charged in the murder of an elderly Ohio woman plans to plead guilty to all but one of the charges against him. Police say 56-year-old Daniel French robbed and killed 86-year-old Barbara Howe back in 2012. French was an employee at the retirement home where Howe was living. Prosecutors say next week they expect French to plead guilty to aggravated burglary, aggravated robbery, abuse of a corpse, and evidence tampering, but not to murder. They say French said that he did not mean to kill Howe. He's scheduled to be back in court on Wednesday. And police in Meade County are still investigating after a man made a frantic 911 call earlier this week to tell police a woman had found her boyfriend dead. 30-year-old Shane Allen was found dead at his home in Battletown on Wednesday. According to his girlfriend, Allen was meeting someone he didn't know not long before she found him. A friend of the victim then talked with dispatchers about what had happened.
Don't look like he's breathing at all.
Not breathing?
No, he's got a big hole in the middle of his neck.
Front or back?
In the front.
And said that he was trying to sell an ATV at the time. Kentucky State Police are leading the investigation, and right now there are no suspects, and police have not said exactly how Allen died.
Police in eastern Kentucky are still looking for an inmate who escaped at a courthouse Friday. The jailer says Justin Talby escaped while prisoners were being unloaded at the Breathitt County Courthouse. Police say Talby was wearing an orange jumpsuit and had no shoes on. He was also still handcuffed. The jailer says Talby is not considered to be dangerous.
The pressure on House Ways and Means Chairman Paul Ryan to run for Speaker reached a fever pitch yesterday, one day after the frontrunner unexpectedly dropped out. Ryan has made it clear that he doesn't want the job, but Republicans say he might be the only one who can unite their fractured party. CBS's Nancy Cortez has the latest from Capitol Hill.
Right now, I'm just going to catch my flight so I can make it home for dinner.
Paul Ryan had the look of a hunted man today as GOP begging turned to groveling. California's Darrell Issa.
I did everything except carry his gym bag this morning, trying to get him to do it.
Oklahoma's Tom Cole appealed to Ryan's sense of duty.
I hope Paul looks inside. I hope he finds that that's the right decision for him.
Even Utah's Jason Chaffetz, who is running for Speaker himself, said he'd prefer Ryan.
If Paul Ryan got into the race, of course I'd support him. He'd be the kind of person that I could get excited about.
Ryan's colleagues view him as articulate, smart, and driven.
We need leadership.
He's cut budget deals with Democrats, but still managed to maintain his conservative cred.
We're going back to regular order.
And as Mitt Romney's former running mate, he has a national profile. But the Wisconsin father of three has said for years he doesn't want to be Speaker.
It's a good job for an empty nester.
And there's no guarantee that the conservative hardliners who bucked Speaker John Boehner would cut Ryan more slack. Lake Farenthold of Texas was one of several today who wouldn't commit to backing Ryan.
I want to see who else is in the race. I mean, you don't pick a candidate until you know who all the players are.
Why would anyone want to be Speaker at this point?
That is the $64,000 question.
Ryan will have a week-long recess to think that question over, but it's hard to see how anyone could hold out against this kind of pressure. Even Mitt Romney called him, urging him to run.
Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker has reportedly called on Ryan to accept the speakership. The largest insurance provider on Kentucky's Connect exchange is going out of business, meaning that tens of thousands of policyholders will have to find new health insurance coverage. Leaders of the nonprofit Kentucky Health Cooperative say they don't have enough money to offer plans for 2016 because that's when federal funding will end. The Louisville-based company has about 50,000 members here in Kentucky. Current policyholders will be covered through the end of December. And Kentucky's candidates for Attorney General will square off tomorrow night for their first televised debate. Democrat Andy Beshear and Republican Whitney Westerfield will debate on Kentucky tonight at 8 p.m. tomorrow on KET. It is 8:38 on your Sunday morning, and coming up here on WKYT this morning, President Obama is in California raising money for the Democrats and giving some political advice to Kanye West. All right, that story's coming up.
And things are quite chilly so far this morning. There's really not much cloud cover to speak of, but what does that mean for Sunday afternoon? I'll show you coming up.